Imagine for a moment a world without words, no written language, no stories passed down across generations. A world where thoughts, ideas, and histories were confined to the fleeting nature of speech. Can you picture it? It's hard to fathom, isn't it? But there was a time when civilization had no written record of its existence. No books, no scrolls, no emails to keep your inbox full. How did we, as humans, unlock the power to preserve thought, to communicate across time and space? The journey of writing is far older than you think. And trust me, it's far more bizarre than you could possibly imagine. The history of ancient writing. Systems, the dawn of communication. Thousands of years ago, somewhere between the banks of the Tigris and Euphrates, in the land we now call Mesopotamia, a groundbreaking invention was taking shape. But it wasn't a pen or paper. No, it was something far more primitive, yet profound. Picture this: mud, clay, and a reed stylus. Nothing fancy, but this simple tool was about to change the course of human history forever. These early forms of writing, called cuneiform, emerged around 3200 BCE. But what's shocking is that it wasn't invented to write poetry or love letters. Number the first purpose of writing? Accounting. Yup, the need to count grain, cattle, and taxes. Because let's face it, even back then, taxes were, well, they were a thing. Can you imagine? The very first text messages were probably just, "Hey, I need 50 more sheep for the harvest." But here's the kicker. What started as a necessity for trade and record-keeping evolved into something far deeper. From these squiggly lines came the ability to express complex thoughts. Philosophies, laws, myths, stories began to take shape. The Great Transitions. From Mesopotamia, the power of written language spread like wildfire, eventually reaching ancient Egypt, where a new form of writing emerged: hieroglyphs. Beautiful, intricate symbols that adorn the walls of tombs and temples, giving us access to the wisdom of pharaohs and priests long past their time. But here's the twist. Hieroglyphs weren't just a system for recording history, they were a link to the divine. These symbols were believed to be magical, allowing the dead to communicate with the gods. Imagine that. Words powerful enough to transcend life itself. And yet, there was something missing. Something that could turn this mystical writing into a tool of everyday life. And then came the Phoenicians, enter the alphabet. Now, the Phoenicians weren't just traders, they were also master linguists. They simplified writing into 22 distinct characters. No more complex symbols, no more scribes with fancy tools, just simple characters that anyone could learn. And that's the moment the world changed forever. With the alphabet, writing became democratized. It was no longer the domain of the elite. It was for everyone. Think about it. If the Phoenicians hadn't come up with that alphabet, we'd all still be trying to read cuneiform in college and trying to balance our checkbooks with a reed stick. Thank you, Phoenicians. The global impact. And just when you think the story of writing couldn't get any more impactful, it does. The ancient Greek civilization picks up the Phoenician alphabet. And here's where the magic happens. By adding vowels to the alphabet, they create the foundation for nearly every written language that exists today. Without this step, your English, your Spanish, your Russian, they'd all be unrecognizable. The Greeks didn't just borrow, they revolutionized. From Greece, the alphabet spread like wildfire. The Romans adopted it, and then the entire Western world. By the time we hit the Renaissance, writing is everywhere. On parchment, paper, in books, on maps. Suddenly, the world of ideas is exploding. But here's the thing. Do you know what was happening in other parts of the world at the same time? While Europe was just discovering the alphabet, other civilizations were already creating entirely different and just as complex writing systems. In Mesoamerica, the Mayans were developing their own hieroglyphic script, one that would later prove to be one of the most intricate writing systems ever created. Meanwhile, in China, thousands of years ago, the earliest characters were being etched into bones and bronze. These systems weren't just ways to communicate, they were pathways to understanding the universe. All of these systems, these inventions, they didn't just record the past, they shaped the future. They gave birth to our world. And yet there's something about these ancient scripts that still remains shrouded in mystery. Are we truly able to understand all that was said? Or are there secrets still hidden within those ancient lines? Because you see, some writing systems still today remain unreadable. Their true meanings locked away forever, unless we crack the code. That's a mystery for another time.